Hello and welcome to episode 5 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough here in Cycle 7 Day 8. 9.2 days left in the drought. Last time, we started building a reservoir. Didn't quite get everything accomplished that I wanted to, but we did still get a pretty, well, for this early stage of the game, a pretty decent amount of water retained here. And our current storage is almost full. Not quite, but it's basically there. We have a decent handle on some food, and now we have a chance over the next 9.2 days to continue the process of improving our situation here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right off the bat, I'm going to hit pause on these water pumps because we want to retain irrigation as long as possible. And at this current state, this will evaporate by the end of this drought. But if we can, hold that off as long as we can plant some more crops, we can grow some more crops, and we can get these beavers in a much better situation. Let's go ahead and put these farmhouses back onto planting, or this one rather. This one's set to harvesting, this one's probably should be set to planting priority, and that's going to be a big help. Next thing we have to do is we have to assign some beavers to the beard wheel. Looks like we already have 3, and we have the opportunity to continue fermenting some cassavas, get both of those up and running, and we need to start doing more with our wood processing. But we can't really do too much without actually having wood. That's a problem that we've been trying to solve with this little tiny tree farm, but this isn't going to be enough. We need a lot more and fast. Now, that's not really going to be too terribly easy, but what we can do is we can kind of make ourselves something right about here. Where this fermented cassavas is, I think it's going to make a lot of sense for us to put in, with the help of some levees, a 3x3 irrigation station that will take this entire area, make it nice and irrigated. Somebody else suggested, putting some stuff up here, but this is not really a big enough space for me to want to dedicate irrigation to. If I do it here, then this is going to be a huge space. We can plant some more trees, keep this for farming, and just generally advance the state of the playthrough. So this fermented cassava storage is going to replace this regular cassava storage. We'll go ahead and get that emptied out. Then we'll remove that and we'll start putting in some levees. We only have 32 logs. So deleting this medium warehouse should give us about 10, I believe. Okay, might give us 11 or 12, but that's going to help. That's almost or possibly an entire levee. And we'll just go ahead and get that going here. We'll need to put in another, well, technically 4, depending on how we want to do this, but I think this is going to be the best place to stick that. Obviously I have to have a water dump there, and that's going to be that. So while they are working on all of that stuff, we need to come over here as well. There's plenty of logs here, don't worry. We're going to build this back up again for diversion before too long, but it's more important right now to start growing some more trees so we can do stuff later. Somebody left a comment and said that we should get rid of these dead bushes here. I don't know if that actually matters, but I'll humor you. That's fine. Go ahead and do that so these live ones can continue growing. And we have an opportunity here as well to relocate our staircase, swap it with the shower, or just take the shower out and put it somewhere else, which probably is going to be a smarter choice. And if we put a staircase here, the idea is that maybe we'll get a little bit more range for the planting of our mangroves. So I think that is going to be a smart choice for us to do as well. In addition to putting, instead of dams here, we can put in floodgates if we want to. In addition to that, we can replace these triple floodgates with some sluices. That was a lot of you guys commented about the sluices in the last video. And I agree that is the better solution, but at the time that's what we could build. At least one of you caught up on that, and I'm glad you did. But we're going to put sluices in here, and then that's going to allow us to just keep building this higher and higher and higher as time goes by. Again, lots to get done, so we really shouldn't spend too much more time dilly-dallying. Got some here we can grab. Just go ahead and prioritize that. And then I will, just because we have the slope here already, don't need to get rid of it and build it again with some stairs. We'll just leave that in place. And then pop this here, pop that there. Eventually, when we have dynamite, then yes, it will be a whole lot better to just dig this down to the ground with some dynamite and all that. The levees are not going to have the maximum range, but it's a start. And it's more important to have something than to have nothing because you're waiting for, the perfect option. That being said, let's go ahead and put a fluid dump right here. Again, this is irrigation for planting trees. We already have this guy here that can reach most of this area. And then up here we could maybe put some more farms and stuff, but this is what I'm worried about right at this exact moment. This is still waiting for planks. We don't have any more planks because this is paused, and that's fine because, you know, we don't really need to have to worry about all that. But they're going to take care of that. We do have, I think, yeah, we still got plenty of logs up here. We do have storage, so I'm going to go ahead just to, you know, make this a little bit quicker. Go grab all those. These levees are still going to be built, but they are deprioritized because our main goal is to actually have water. You might be asking also, why aren't you releasing water from here? Well, when it's in this position, there's less surface area. It's not going to evaporate quite as quickly as if it were down here. And when this does evaporate, we can let some water out. But my goal is, this whole playthrough, and we've talked about this extensively, and you guys in the comments have picked up it as well, and a lot of theory crafting going on. So I appreciate reading all those. But we have to get so far ahead of the curve when it comes to water retention and pumping and storage that it's going to seem completely impossible for us to do it. But we're going to try. We're going to try anyway. Right? This is, what, Series 27? I've done so much stuff in this game. If I do just normal playthroughs, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. So we're going to have to do all sorts of crazy stuff. But if we can retain as much water between temperate cycles as possible and slowly put it into more storage, then that's really going to serve us well. And I know it's going to be a slow thing at first because we don't have a whole lot of wood, but that is the plan. Going to try really, really hard to get to a part where we can probably fill up a couple of these large tanks every single cycle and keep them full. Just continuously pump water, put it in storage, keep the beaver population low at the start, do as much as we can before ramping up the population. Like, obviously the math isn't going to work out to where we can actually support actively 1,000 beavers every cycle forever. That's just, it's impossible with the map, and I don't want to change settings because I want to prove that we can at least have one full cycle with 1,000 beavers if we have everything else squared away. That's the goal of the playthrough at this point, because now you guys have done the math. But anyway, all that being said, we do need to have them do a little bit more work here. Going to try my best not to let these get too dry. And I also do want to lower this enough where I can put sluices in place, but that's also going to require we make a little bit more metal. We have an extra beaver right now. We're generating 236, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on the smelter. Get that last beaver working. We do have some scrap metal left, so that's going to be a good way to occupy them. Still have this going here. They're still grabbing all of this wood. And I guess now that I've kind of explained what we're doing here, I'll just put this in triple speed. Get our stuff done, and that's the way it's going to go. Now that this isn't in use, I'm going to try to put in some stairs. We do have a lack of planks, but that's not going to be forever. We're getting one plank from this, and then we're going to get 3 planks from that. So guess what? That's planks to go there, except I have to make sure that it doesn't go to this platform, because I don't really need that right now, and we also don't want to build that fluid dump quite yet. So, remember, this was the maximum reach of this guy before we relocated the stairs. We'll let them take their time with that. Obviously, these trees have to grow anyway. There's no benefit to having access to them at this point in time, plus they can always just come down here if they really wanted to. But we'll see what happens. Still working on that, still working on that. How are we looking on getting some more wood from here? 43%, 95%. Okay, so we are going to have some of these oaks within the next several days. Actually, a pretty decent number of them be accessible. We are continuing to take food up. Looking good, looking good. Have to keep an eye on the rest of this. And remember, we're not pumping water right now, because I want to preserve as much of this as I can until it's not gonna, not gonna matter. We don't want to have, after a certain point, we don't want to have a single drop escaping the map. Obviously, it's going to be impossible early on, but we need to start getting used to that, or else I'm just going to I'm just going to get all the water in here. It disappears, and then nobody's happy. Okay, it looks like they got all this up here. So that's good. We will have to fix that. I'm not going to keep this fluid dump here because all these bushes died, so free planks and logs, come and get them. This is just about done, and it is done, so now we can unpause that. Stairs should be next. Shouldn't be a big deal. Just get this thing built, get this thing irrigated, and we are going to be in good shape. We can also, if we feel like it, put in, I believe, a shower. Yeah, we can put a shower right here. And there we go. They can, you know, make use of the irrigation station. All right, fill this thing up, and I am very curious to see just how much this irrigates. I know it's not going to be as much as if it actually was dirt everywhere, but wow, look at that. All right, that is way, way better than I thought it was going to be. Let's immediately, and I mean immediately, plant some oak trees. Just get this thing rocking and rolling here as much as we can. I know other trees are going to grow quicker, but long term, we're going to need every single piece of wood we can. And for right now, we're looking okay. We also have these mangroves we can cut down. We can continue doing whatever with. So that's going to stay like that. And then these right here, I will make pines just so we have a little bit more coming up. This is already marked for cutting. Beautiful. Fantastic. So this obviously is not something we need to worry about, but that's going to keep that nice and full. We are hemorrhaging water, which is why we're going to turn this back on. Remember what I said? We're trying to keep this as full as we can within the limitations that we have imposed upon ourselves. We're going to have to get used to keeping stuff irrigated. This is going to help tremendously during bad tides for food as well. Just got to keep everything going right along. I don't have any forester range up here, so that's fine. It is what it is. Probably should put a farm up here at some point as well, but we don't really have the beavers to do that. Let's take this out of triple speed here. Take another look. How we got that going there. That's fine. These stairs still aren't complete, and that's fine. It is what it is. We have some metal blocks right now. Once I get this down, I guess another, 0.55 via either pumping or something else, then we can demolish the floodgates and put sluices in. We do have the materials, metal-wise, for the sluices. We are going to have some planks. But that's not a big deal. We just have to, have the extra beavers to do that. And I don't see any cassavas right now for fermenting, so I'm going to pause that one and unpause that one. Get those guys in there. Remember, they're going to pull out of the inventors as time goes by as well. It's also time probably to think about starting to make some more gears, but I want to get some planks first because, that's the prerequisite for gears in the first place. We do still have the fermenter going, so that's good. We're planting trees, so that's good. We got guys sharpening, so that's good. And we have 4 homeless beavers. Now that we're in a little bit of a better spot, I'm going to unpause this platform so they can finish that with the last plank, and then they can build this other barracks, which we are going to have to connect somehow as well, which that is what it is. We'll fix it when we have other stuff unlocked. It's going to be fine. We have the science. I just have to decide what to do with it. I honestly don't really know. Got options. Irrigation barriers obviously would be a very good thing to have, but treated planks are a long ways off. Impermeable floors, same kind of deal. Dynamite. You guys, a lot of you in the comments have said we need to rush dynamite to try and get a handle on irrigation and diversion stuff. And I think that's probably a good idea, but before we get to dynamite, we have to be able to get to Badwater. So if we come over here, we can unlock our deep Badwater pump. Once we have enough gears to build one, we're obviously going to want to start pumping Badwater so we can do stuff with it. And that is going to have to be done in this general area here. So, seeing how this is laid out, I probably do need to make some changes to this. So we can actually, utilize the dam here. Now that food isn't, like, super, super bad, easiest thing to do. Easiest thing to do, just take that fermenter out, go right across the dam here, and then we can go ahead and unlock the deep Badwater pump. And I'm just gonna pop this guy, I guess, right about here. Should be fine. Make it nice and easy. Put the path in. And then we can even put in a little bit of storage. Now, we don't have a lot of logs, so I don't want to overbuild, but we do need to have at least one storage for Badwater. That's going to get us off to a decent start. Obviously, it would be better to have a retention thing, so on and so forth, but remember, every little bit counts. So let's take this down Again, it looks like most of that is, yeah, making its way through here. I'm trying not to let any go through the dam here, which is why we're going down in such small movements. I don't really have... I guess I could go ahead and have another water pump open up. Just trying my best to use our water wisely here. Still planting trees. Still looking good there. Now we have the shower in place. No more homeless beavers. Well-being should go up a little bit once some of this other stuff's taken care of. But now, because I mentioned farmhouses, we do have to have one. I can easily put one in this area that is non-irrigable. We shouldn't have any issues with that. So if I just pop that in there, what we can do, we don't have to have this staffed all the time. But as a couple of you pointed out, it would be very smart for us to start growing some of these longer crops. Canola at 9 days, corn at 10. We don't need canola to do corn, but to do corn, we do have to have the food factory, which, you know, honestly, we could probably just go ahead and unlock. We have the science for it. But currently, the power is a little bit of an obstacle. So I'm not going to get there quite yet. Oh, this is dried out. We need to keep an eye on that. Remember what I was saying there. Alright, so I'm just going to take this down to 0.9. I think that's probably going to be enough to overflow. Not quite. Alright. But importantly, this has gotten us low enough where we can now take this out. I'm going to do a little bit more. Take this again. I don't want to lose any of this water. But I think we're probably okay to just go ahead, take it down to 0.5. Because I do not want this to overflow if I can help it. There we go. Alright. Now, this is going to be good because we're going to get a bunch of wood and a bunch of planks from this. Get those out of there. Come back in here with the sluices. On flat ground, we only need to have 2. That is correct. If there is a fall like this, we do have to have the 3 because that is an edge. We could, as at least one of you pointed out, move the sluice back 1 block and then only have 2. And then the edges here would take care of that, but honestly, this is fine. Totally fine. So let's go ahead and get these builders in here to take out that stuff. They have easy access. Then we can put those in. We can start putting the levees back on top of there, and then we're going to be in really good shape, folks. Could be in really good shape. I haven't checked yet. Wooden stairs installed. What is our range extension? Oh, that's significant. That's good. That's good. Let's go ahead and get these popped in place. That is very nice. Plus, I can put one more right here. That's going to be good. It's already set, ready to go. We're waiting on gears. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the industrial lumber mill. I'm doing this because I don't have enough beavers to run everything, and I do still want to get science. Unpause the gear workshop. Also, there's, you know, power considerations. This is 200 HP, this is 120, and this is another 50, and these beavers, try as they might, are never going to be able to supply everything. So we have to make some calculated choices here. I do think the smelter can probably safely be paused, so that's going to be 120, that's going to be 170. And these guys are going to be generating how much? Well, once they all get here, 157, 236. So the industrial lumber mill, again, 75 HP, so I can actually afford to turn this on, it looks like. But it's going to take everybody out of these. Yeah, I guess that's alright. Oh, remember when I said I was going to be, you know, growing canola and stuff? Yeah, well, that's fine. So we'll do canola there, and we will do soybeans as well. Take a look at our recipes here. Basically, 1 tile can produce 2 soybeans in 8 days, so 1 tile every 4 days, 1 soybean, and then processing in the fermenter turns 6 soybeans and 1 unit of oil into 20 fermented soybeans, which is pretty good. 3.333, whatever, plus a little bit of the canola oil per raw unit of soybeans. Obviously, that means we have to have the oil press as well. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there, and we do still have some time. Soybeans are very, very temperamental with drought. So you see right there, the drought resistance is 0.3 days. Canola is 0.5. So this is the perfect thing to be planting up here near our irrigation thing, and not down here in the river. So that is what I am going to do. I'm going to put some soybeans I'm going to do them closer to the actual irrigation thing here, because that's going to be the least likely thing to actually go bad. And again, we can start planting these things even if we can't use them yet, because we can store a little bit in the farmhouses. Going to do some corn. Drought resistance 2 days, 1 day for eggplant, so I guess the corn is going to be fine there. I think they're going to be able to grow a little bit more here. We'll see what they plant. And then eggplant as well. Remember, diversification is a very good strategy when it comes to growing crops in a demanding playthrough like this. So that's going to be good there. We do have a couple spaces here that I could technically plant in. I'm going to choose not to. These guys, once they plant, don't have to work in the farmhouse. In fact, yeah, well, there's no reason right now to get rid of that. They still haven't replanted all of these down here. I guess that's all right. Yeah, see, this is balanced out quite nicely there. Have they picked up all the debris? They have picked up none of the debris. What are the builders doing? Okay, they are carrying logs. So I guess they are picking up some of the debris. They're putting it in here. Alright, well, you know, it is what it is. But we do still have to start building stuff. I'm going to put... because, you know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put in sluices here and here. That should be fine. Get these guys in place. Obviously, have to build all of this stuff, and then they'll have to come up here to take care of the rest of that. But it is what it is. This is all done back here, which is great. If I had more wood and more time, then I would start building this up as well. But for right now, having this at the level that we would like to have it at is going to be just fine. Still making some very nice progress. We have 2 days. I'm going to pause these 2 water pumps. I would like to keep this continuously irrigated so we can get that many more crops actually going. We need to have some storage for these guys to take care of. Remember that these crops here are going to go away as soon as we have any bad water coming out. So, it is what it is. It's fine. We're picking out as much as we can here. But we're going to have storage. I guess up here, probably not too many great places to stick stuff, but right here is going to be a decent place to put raw cassavas, just because it's a non-irrigable space. That's fine there. This water is going to go away at some point. These trees are much more important to plant, so that's fine. We're going to leave that as it is. These are already at 15%, so we're seeing some nice benefits there. These crops are growing as long as this stays full, which it will. We're going to be in good shape, and we're going to be able to pump more. We need to have more storage, but again, that comes with time and having the gears necessary. Everything takes time, but this is ready to go. Got to keep this paused, and we can, you know, put a beaver in here when the time comes for that. Overall, though, looking pretty good. Don't really have any complaints right now. Just let them do what they got to do. Population seems about adequate for what we're doing right now. I really, really, really want to get more beavers so we can have more stuff going on at once. But again, trying to get ahead on the food and the water storage is going to require that we keep a pretty small population. At least for right now. But very, very happy to see this. Once we have the bad water coming in, of course, then we can start thinking about putting in an explosives factory, which is going to require more gears anyway, and then all that other stuff. So, what do we do about all of that? Well, we have space over here, and now that we actually have a bunch of planks, we can start building some platforms to get across over in this direction. I'm just going to go ahead and say, there's not really a super efficient way to go about doing this, but if I just go ahead and put platforms here, that gets us across, and then I might as well go ahead put one of these in here. We can go ahead and get some trees chopped down as well. Not going to take too long. There's only, you know, so many trees over here, but this is going to be a great place to do more industrial expansion because, of course, we have the water wheels here. We can build additional water wheels if we feel so inclined very, very easily. In fact, because we have this dam here, I kind of want to just, you know, obviously this one's not going to turn very much at all, but well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We definitely want to have more power generation whenever we can harness it. But still, tons and tons of stuff for these beavers to do that they're not going to have a chance if I just keep adding more stuff. So, Gotta let them do all this. I think they're going to be able to build one more up here, but of course we have to have the logs in place. And also don't forget, we have to have this put back before we have the next bad tide. And I don't want to wait and gamble on that. So honestly, that probably needs to be well ahead of anything else we're doing with logs. Provided we're not going to have a huge influx of more of them here. I know there's some of these are going to come up for cutting very soon. I'm hoping. So that's not promising. They're 3%. I think we've already kind of come up on most of these here. 36, 36, 42. Why they even bother checking that? That's 17, 68. Okay. Well, it's fine. I'm going to turn off the industrial lumber mill so we don't turn any more of those logs into planks. We do still need to make gears. That is unavoidable. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and set the downstream depth on this 2.4. Then, obviously, that's going to close there. The water, in theory, should never go past this sluice if this is set to 0.4. This is not a sluice. This is a dam. Get it together. Talking to myself there. But I feel like I really should start building some more storage with these medium tanks, but I do not have the gears. I want to build another gear workshop, but you know, other more pressing needs will take precedence. This is in place, which is very good. That's going to help us out a lot. This concerns me. This concerns me. All right. I want to build so much more storage too, but we will see. We will see what happens. I guess the pine trees are our only hope now. Except the mangroves, which I guess I could just keep marked for cutting. That's probably fine. Probably fine. Yeah, they're going to end up getting cut down. Again, food is looking totally fine. We don't really have too much of a reason to be nervous about it. Just got to keep on doing what we're doing. So, oh, I could take these off of 20-hour days. We'll go back down to 18. That's totally fine. We got to get these guys pumping expeditiously, though, just as soon as Cycle 8 begins. And I feel like we're going to start filling up our storage a little bit quicker than I'd really care to. We'll see. Still like where we're at. And the bottom level is finished, which is very important. Alright, Cycle 8 begins, which means... Oh, you know, the other thing about not having water come through this dam here is that now these wheels are only going to be working on Badwater power, which is not going to be enough. Okay, this is all dry. It's not going to increase the range of the Badwater, but it's definitely not something we want to keep around here. Okay, that needs to be automatically. I had that manually closed for retention. That's a good thing I noticed that. Not putting that on triple speed because water physics go absolutely insano mode with triple speed. But now we're looking alright. Let's get these guys all back in here. I can also go ahead and unpause that deep Badwater pump. I'm going to pause the farmhouse just so we can get some more labor. These are still growing. It's going to be a little while, but that's fine. Get these things in here. These plants are all dead. It is what it is. Yeah, the cassava's going bye-bye is definitely bad news, but again, do what you can do with what you got. This hasn't gotten to full strength either, so now that that's back, we should be going here. All right, now what kind of power are we making? Oh, okay. You know, 279. Not too bad. Definitely not as much as this, but, you know, if you have more of these, then you're probably going to be fine. And actually, looking at the flow here, if we're not going to have anything else coming through here, we're going to try our best not to. Obviously, this is going to run out of space, in which case I will raise this so we can at least generate power from the water we can't use instead of it going off the map. Might be smart for us to put in wheels here instead. But we can definitely pause the power wheel. That much we do know. Ah, that's why it said 270. Okay, yep, obviously that was a thing I should have counted on. Oh well. Live and learn. We do have 20 Badwater. Looking nice. This is filling up very quickly and will absolutely be overfilled. But not too much else we can do about that. Yeah, I need to have stuff up here. I just don't have the wood. We do have these, though. So, you know, that's nice. That's an improvement. What else? What else? What else am I to do here? They're not going to be able to reach this. They haven't even finished this thing because it's already deprioritized. But we know we have to have that done. They are working on those, which is good. They can't reach these two in the middle for sure, which is unfortunate because that's going to mean that we have to put in some other stuff. I'm not going to bother putting a staircase in that spot anyway because now we have to have more accessibility. So since we have a whole bunch of planks, I can just go ahead and put in, I guess, just 3 of these here. Probably going to have to be 4. So they can just come in from here. They should be able to build from that, I think. But now this is already filling up. So here's what we're going to have to do. Not that. There we go. Going to put that to, say, 0.7, because this will start spilling at 0.65-ish. So that is now open. This is filling up again. This should put stuff through here, which is going to generate more power, which means we can put more beavers in these buildings. Except I don't want beavers in these buildings. I guess I want a beaver in this building. So we'll do that. This is increasing again. No, not 30 times speed. I wanted 3 times speed. Calm down. Calm down. Alright, so this should, in theory, be able to keep up once this drains. I was under the impression that this would actually solve our problem here. Maybe not. Maybe not, because this is still overtopping. Alright. So I was wrong. Sue me. Please don't. But, I don't want to kill crops. I don't want... I mean, these guys got to pump quicker. At least they're getting wet fur going through here. Yeah. Alright, this is now priority. Come on. Come over here. Get this stuff done. Get that stuff done. We should have enough logs to do pretty much all of this. Just about. And then we have to get up here. That's gonna be the fun part. If I start here, I can build from both sides without it being super stupid. That's fine. Yeah, see, we're gonna have some problems here. When is that ever not been a thing? Alright, so this is full already. That is unfortunate. I don't want to spend any more logs to build that. But if I can get a couple more gears, then I won't have to use logs to build water storage anymore, because I can just use planks and gears. Okay, the kohlrabies are about to die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I need them to finish this. Builder beavers, what are you doing? Oh, the district center's flooded. Alright. God, why does this always happen to me? Here's what we are going to have to do. This is going to get weird here, but I'm going to desynchronize this. We're going to have to induce flooding up here to try and at least temporarily dry out the district center, because we cannot build anything else. What a pain in the butt. Or I could just, you know, get rid of one of these levees. That would probably accomplish most of the rest of what we're trying to do. Okay. Yeah. Gonna have to be a combination of a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'll just close all of these. Alright, dry out district center. I know this is flooding. Nope, never mind, that just does the same exact thing. This is supremely annoying. I wish this wasn't. I guess I could move the district center. This isn't water beavers, I always forget that. If I just move this guy up here, I obviously am gonna have to reassign some other stuff, but that's good. That's gonna be the easiest way to solve this problem without anybody, you know, actually suffering here. All right, disconnect that. Put that in place. Get rid of that. Put that in place, and then... Well, I guess we wanted to farm here as well. Alright. Give me my beavers back for building. Oh, God, look at this absolute disaster. Look at this mess. Alright, folks, get to work. We got all sorts of stuff to fix. And I guess when this dries out, more crops to plant. I'm going to unplant these. I think we're going to want to... Nah, you know what? No, I'll leave those alone. There we go. Finish that. Finish that. Then at least stop flooding this nonsense. Take that all the way outside there. Still working on this. We got 15 gears. Alright. Alright. Why is this backing up here? This should not be backing up here. There's no reason why this should be backing up here. Do not do that. Thank you. Okay. Are we going to have bad water physics again if I put this back up to speed? Hopefully not. We don't have time to be having these delays. Come on. Come on, come on. We're going to be in a really bad spot if we don't take care of this. Okay. Good. Good, 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 good. Now it's just overflowing instead of just flooding everything. So that works. I need those there. I need those there. I'm going to be running out of logs. I guess what I probably should have done first is rebuild this, but we do have some birch trees here. We've got, are any of these close at all? 15. That's 75. 75, I think, is going to be the closest we're going to get. I know this is not going to be there. There you go. Yeah, 25, 34. They did cut these down. You know, that's, it is what it is. This is about to be a very, very fun exercise in how to, you know, solve your problems without wood. I just really, really hope that we don't have to divert a bad tide. Alright, well, we have Badwater. I can technically unlock the explosives factory and get ready to make dynamite. We have the science to unlock it. If we have to do emergency diversion, that's probably going to be our best bet. Explosives factory requires 30 gears. I have 17. We could make enough gears to build the explosives factory before the start of a bad tide, the earliest possible date of now, which would be day 6. I'm pretty sure we stand a chance to do that. I'd much rather have another tank. But we're gonna see where we go. I'm gonna save my gears for that. Right now, though, I need them to focus on, well, I guess this is ultimately much more important if we cannot build the explosives factory. I'm gonna have to hedge my bets on that. Let's get, that's already prioritized. That's fine. I need to build this first, and then that one goes in last. And then we need to have a better retention strategy. I just need more wood. That's what this boils down to. Okay, day 3. No warning, so we have at least another 3 full days. Well, I guess technically at least another 4 full days, because you always get the 3 days. So, we're gonna have the time. Just gotta get these guys on board with whatever they're doing. Food storage is looking really good. I need to build more food storage, but I need the wood to do this. Can't afford to have too much more of that stuff going on. We're at beaver equilibrium again, in terms of jobs. Still looking fine. Well, there's no reason to really take this guy out of here, unless we wanted to have more haulers, which I don't... Yeah, what the heck. I'll put in 2 more there, because, you know, they're just doing science, which we don't particularly need right now. Looking okay here. They are starting on these. I'm going to pause those, because I'd rather have the wood for down here. Got logs there. This is going to fill up very, very quickly. So I'm not going to plug this, but I guess we could start, if we have extra wood, making sure that we're going to have enough to build this other thing. I know I keep talking about it, but... Oh, I'm going to need more planks. That's right, because we used planks to build the rest of this stuff. Alright. Oh, this guy doesn't need to be here anymore. That's one job saved. Okay, so this is done for right now. We're probably going to have to extend the height more. But this is good. This is good. We'll put that one back in if we absolutely need to. Still going to keep in reserve our option to just blast the side of this off. We're going to have 2. Well, actually, no, we're going to have 3 blasted off. If we have a bad tide. Then I suppose the question becomes, how fast can we make 3 units of dynamite, assuming this is already built? 9 hours. Okay. We have the Badwater already. That is not a problem. I think it is very achievable. I just do not currently have... Wait, where'd all my metal go? That's not just because I built all those sluices, is it? I know we had to use some for that. We're not using metal for anything else. There's like nothing else that could use metal. Okay. Oh, see, now this is going to be the problem, is that we don't have the metal blocks, and they take 2 hours each. That's another, conservatively, 20 hours. 20 working hours. That's a day and a half because of travel time. That needs to be prioritized by haulers immediately, as does... well, I think we have... one of these is scrap metal. No, that's metal block storage. None of these are scrap metal storage, but that is. Okay. That is going to have to be a priority. Well, I guess this also depends on whether or not we end up getting a bad tide or a drought. But what I should do, because you know we're going to need this anyway, I should just go ahead, unlock the explosives factory, and start building it. Because you know we're going to need it at some point. Flip that there. Just start doing it. And that is going to be what it's going to be. If we don't need it, cool, we can pause it. If we do, we're going to be glad we started. We don't have any other active building projects right now. We're planting trees that we can't really pull anything else up with. And I need to start making more planks. That is abundantly clear. I can very easily get rid of those platforms. We're never going to need those there. That's fine. They can already walk through everything. That should get us most of the planks we need to build this thing. Still need to make a couple more gears. And right now we are still shoving that water off the side because I don't have any other storage for it. But that is okay. Alright. Now we just have to find out what's going to happen here. Just let this thing do what it's going to do. We're pumping with everything that we have. Storage is rapidly filling, and I can't really build anything else until I know for sure this is taken care of. We just have to wait on what's going to happen on day 5. Yeah, so now the problem is we need the planks that are already on the ground, and we need the planks to make the gears. I think we probably are going to be okay. The metal blocks are going to be... Metal blocks are going to be the really, really dangerous part of this. Alright, day 5. Alright, cool. So we're absolutely going to have the maximum length of 8 days. Because day 6 is going to give us 3 full days after that. 6, 7, 8. So I feel really good about this. I really hope it's a drought and not a bad... Actually, you know what? If we can get this taken care of, I would love to have a bad tide. Because then that means this will still produce power and I won't have to have beavers running in the beard wheel. Now we are just waiting and waiting and waiting. I need 2 more gears. I already have all my planks, so that's good news. Still making science. Everything is looking good there. We need to build more storage. Need to build more water storage. But as soon as I have this last gear, then I can focus on using some of those for another medium tank. That's going to be a very, very welcome thing. This guy doesn't need to make any more of these for right now because I want to make sure I have enough to put in this last levee. Now it's all metal blocks. And we're about to find out if we're going to have a drought or a bad tide. Alright, so it's a drought, which means we don't need to rush explosives. But we've already put all the materials in this anyway, so we might as well just have them keep building it. And it also means that we're going to be able to plant stuff again here. So, since it's a drought, and we know we're not going to have this taken care of. Well, we don't have the wood anyway to do anything, but now we can start using these materials as they are continually being produced to build some more water storage. I can, if I know for a fact, before the 3 days is up, if I know for a fact I'm going to have the materials necessary, which I don't think I am, I don't think it's possible to make 20 gears in the next 2.8 days, since I'm only going to have 18 working hours, and that's, what, 48? And this takes 3 hours to make a single gear. Yeah, that's not going to work. Unless I had gears laying somewhere else or in a building I could get rid of. There is no benefit to me removing these tanks to get logs back to turn into planks to turn into gears, because remember, I also have to have planks. So we can kiss that goodbye, unfortunately. This still irrigated is fine. The remaining logs we have are probably going to be best served putting a levee here so we can get one more tile of height on this reservoir. And then we do have to remember to change this to be below the height of the dams. We need to replace the dams first and foremost, but the ship kind of sailed on that one. To excuse the pun. I don't have single level floodgates unlocked. I absolutely could, but those also require logs to build. And planks, which we don't have. Well, we have 7. So when you demolish a dam, you used 20 logs to build it, you'll get 15 back, which does help us out in building the floodgate, but I don't think we can get the planks fast enough to replace those. We definitely could. Probably. That's not what definitely means. Yeah, what the heck. What the heck, we'll just do it. Do or do not, there is no try, etc. If I do build this, remember it can be all done at not at once. We build this first floodgate and then we can demolish this. We'll get 20 logs out of that. We already have 15, and we have all the materials to build this first one, so we just let them do it. That's fine. Metal blocks are going to be metal blocks. Everything else is looking. See, I just. If I can build all 3 of these, I know I can get this done. But I am going to have to, you know, produce the rest of these planks. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, no reason to run this at single speed. I also don't know how long this drought's going to be. This is going to determine when I end this episode here. If it's a super long drought, we were absolutely going to end it before it starts. But if it's, you know, if it's like less than 10 days, we could probably make it work. I am trying very hard not to have super long videos for this. I know people's attention spans aren't necessarily as high as others here. So that is fine there. This floodgate needs to be raised. I'm going to say 0.9. It's going to be fine there. Go ahead and get this going. Do what we can. I don't need all the logs going in here, but we can definitely put 10 of those 15 into this. I'll just keep this paused for a little bit. Not that they can work on it overnight anyway. Still slowly creeping that population up. Alright, come on, you got 2 days. Remember, we still have to be able to plug that. Well, I would like to get this in place as fast as we can. Alright, that's done. Unpause. Delete. Delete. Also, this allows us to put in more mangroves, which we absolutely should have been doing. And I don't have any planks left, because we're turning them into here, but I can pause the gear workshop, and I can get that taken care of very, very easily, very quickly. And then we can use the rest of that time, so that's done. Alright. Uh-oh. Well, we can fix that problem. Problem solved. So, now we have 16 logs on the ground. Will give us a total of 26. I can come over here and I can build the last levee very, very easily. That's going to be just fine. I'm obviously not going to have the time or materials to build another thing up here, but when these trees start coming in, then we absolutely can. However, since we're going to be coming up on a drought, it's going to be a lot better usage of our time and materials to build storage for crops and for liquids. So now that that's taken care of, this is at 0.9, this is set to 0.7, which means this is going to continuously overflow. And I guess, okay, for now, now I will set this to 0.65 just so this can continue. powering stuff and we don't overflow as soon as I have that finished. So much to think about. So much to think about. But we're going to be alright. Going to be just fine. I am going to keep this paused until the very end, just so we don't have super weird overflow problems. But I do want to get all of these logs in place. Alright, so there's 10. This should be the last to get to 12. And pause. About 90%. Just have to remember to turn that back on. Now we have 14 logs. And we have an explosives factory, which is going to be a very, very useful thing to have. We should probably go ahead and start having this be operated, because then Badwater can move from this tank and this pump into the explosives factory, and we basically get a free, quote-unquote, Badwater storage to help us out a little bit. 5 Badwater is a dynamite, so we have enough storage to get 5 explosives out of this, which just so happens to be what the building will hold in terms of finished product. Works out pretty well. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with dynamite quite yet, but obviously the long-term plan for this playthrough definitely hinges upon blasting this entirely down, all the way, and taking every square inch of growable space we can possibly make or use to grow trees, to grow crops, and to organize and store water, because, again, we're going to have a lot of it. But now I am feeling pretty good. We have 1.3 days. This is still working. We're still making stuff. Knowing that we're having these trees grow up in the next couple of days, first couple days of the drought, I feel a lot better now turning the lumber mill back on. Gear workshop back on. Smelter we're not really needing at the moment. And I don't think we have the... Yeah, we definitely don't. So I'm going to pause that. And then we're also probably going to have to pause the explosives factory, but I do want to try and get at least a couple of these made. It's depending on how long the drought's going to be, it's going to be to our advantage to run this until the start. So that's looking okay. Yeah, I guess it's going to be fine. Guess it's going to be fine. This stuff is still growing here. That's fine. I guess I could have these guys start harvesting and replanting, because this is going to be irrigated forever. Hopefully. Famous last words. Things are looking alright. Looking alright. We need more food storage, but I need more logs to make that happen. Alright. Now we have... Yeah. Now we're fine. Right before the end of the workday, I do want to unpause this so they actually finish it. Got 26 logs. These are going to come in a day or two. I'm going to leave these running because we have the power to operate them, but we definitely need to get more stuff going here. This is a good amount of water to have stored, though, without being pumped out. That is fine. We will get the rest of this taken care of. Don't really feel super worried about it yet. It'll be better during a drought when we can, plant and harvest more stuff. Already storing canola seeds. That's good. Probably should go ahead and start planning on having an oil press. But, again, that takes gears. And right now, while we still have a pretty good amount of food stored up, I don't think we need to be rushing to make these when those gears could be used to store water instead. Baby steps. Baby steps. It's also worth considering the large tank in terms of more efficient storage per resource used. It is 4 times the size of the medium tank in terms of storage capacity, and it only requires 3 times as many gears and 2.5 times, 2 2/3 times as many planks, plus 30 metal. Obviously, we're going to be focusing on using the large tanks forever for the entire playthrough, but if there is a situation where we can just kind of jump straight to those, it's going to work out a lot better for us. But it's going to require definitely more than one smelter. We're going to have more power generation, which brings us to the engine. That's going to be something we want to get into sooner rather than later. As soon as we have more logs, which, part of the reason we built that tree farm is so we could get more stuff. It's coming. It's coming. I'm absolutely sure, at least a few of you have said, why don't you use engines? That's the plan. We're going to do it. We just have to get there. And now, before I forget and cause a problem, let's get that levee finished. we'll get this filled up, and then I will pause this to get this filled up as well. And I don't know that we're going to need it, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's almost always the correct option if you have the ability to do that. All right, so let's make sure we have, there we go, somebody's finishing that. Going to get nice and filled. Let's go ahead and, toward the end of the workday, just get this all the way up to 1.0, which will cause this to shut, flood mildly when the backflow happens, but that's fine. That's the way it goes. Problem solved. This is getting full, and it is all the way full. Pause that. A little bit of flooding. It'll go away. These are all closed. And I guess... Oh, this one was disconnected. Well, that's my fault. Oh boy. 15-day drought, though. Alright, so note to self. Fix that. Now this no longer matters. Alright. But 15-day drought, we are looking pretty good. Turn that back on. I'm just going to pause these so we can have more beavers. We already have completely full here. This can be paused. This will be paused. We do not need to have any more explosives. We don't need them right now. We can get those beavers into other stuff. And now we are looking good. We can continue as we start getting more logs. We can continue starting to build some stuff. So before we say goodbye today, let's go ahead and start on that. I know this is a very ugly layout, but that's what we have. What we have access to. We're going to try to store the densest possible configuration here, which is going to mean raw materials. Because, 2.5 times for the cassavas, and it's going to be 3 1/3 or whatever the math works out to for the soybeans once we actually get there. We have a cassava storage here they can use. That's totally fine. We're going to leave that there. This storage... Honestly, long-term might be good to have berries, but the berries aren't in any danger of dying here, so we can leave that alone. We need to have a storage for other types of food that we are growing. It's probably going to make more sense to have it be for canola seeds than to be for soybeans. Because, soybeans are really annoying to grow, but they take a long time. And canola is going to be really important later on. Keep in mind, though, that doesn't mean we can't build more storage or just prioritizing what gets built first. We are going to keep building until everything has a storage. Don't worry. So this one is going to end up being for soybeans. I'm not worried about corn or eggplant at all at the moment, but we did plant them just so we could get a little bit of a head start. So that's fine. Again, I know this is very poorly organized. It will be fixed. And I mean everything on this map is going to be gone and replaced with something else. Every single tile that is not this, or this will be removed and replaced with something else. But it's going to take a long time. So, that's where we find ourselves. 15-day drought. We have full storage of food and water. We need more storage. We're building more storage. We're working on it. And we're about to have a whole bunch of trees come up that can get cut down and utilized appropriately. Let's just make sure before I say goodbye that we actually have... We do not have any lumberjacks in range of this. Okay, well that answers that question very emphatically. This lumberjack flag is going away. This one is going to be put in this square right here. That's, yeah, basically the only place I can pop this right now where it's not going to be in the way. Which means these are not going to be grown, but that is, that's how it goes. That's showbiz, baby. But, like I said, that's the end of this episode. I really appreciate you guys watching this series, giving me some very good feedback, very good ideas. Again, always appreciated. Please always feel free. Let me know what you think, what I'm doing wrong, what you'd like to see done, what you'd like to see not done. I always read the comments. Can't reply to everybody. But I do always take your thoughts into consideration, because as I've said a billion times and will say a billion times more, it is a let's play, not a watch me play. Your input matters. I try to use as much of it as I can as long as it's in service of our overall objective. So, again, thanks for supporting Beard Boosters, not the Beaver Boosters, the Beard Boosters. Directly contributing to the channel and to making it possible for me to do all this stuff and focus on YouTube as my primary income now, which is amazing. Really genuinely appreciate the support, not only for me, but for people I care about, and making sure that I can take care of all the other obligations in my life. And now some fun stuff coming soon, not related to beavers. But at any rate, I'm very thankful we get to spend this time together. We'll be back in this series ideally 3 times a week, but I do have to finish the Folktales series first. I'm not going to rush to the end of that. I promised you guys we're going to, give it everything until the very end, and that one probably still has a couple left, maybe 2 or 3 episodes. Last episode was 42, so yeah, 3 episodes is what I had planned to 45. If it takes longer, it takes longer, but we're going to at least go through that. Try to do as much as we can in that playthrough. And of course, we have water beavers too, which is a lot of fun. So just bear with me here. We're going to pick up steam on this one as fast as we can. But I do still have to take care of the other stuff. All that being said, again, all the time we got for today. Sorry it's over an hour. I'm trying. I'm trying. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.